It is officially winter season here in Chicago. And if you haven't gotten it by now, my name is Luke Embers and I'm a professional fire dancer in Chicago. Back in 2023, I started a 1,000 day challenge where I would practice fire dancing every day for 1,000 days straight. And I just recently hit over 900 days, which I'm really proud about, but I gotta say these last 100 days are really a struggle to get through. The specific style of fire dancing that I do is called Siva Afi, which derives from Samoan culture. And so when I started, I didn't really have that much info on Samoan culture or Siva Afi as a whole. As I was beginning and I was starting to learn about it, I would see people on social and reach out to them about it. I would find whatever YouTube videos I could at the time about it and follow tutorials or slow videos that I was able to pick up. Honestly, just learned on my own. And doing this challenge has allowed me to really get better and to dedicate my time and effort into something like this so that I can develop my skill for it and turn it into something. Little did I know, I actually started doing it professionally and I started doing shows in the summers. So all of my summers are super booked, doing shows and gigs across Chicago and beyond. And it's a pretty good deal. But when the cold months start to hit, I'm essentially left with very little gigs for 4 to 5 months straight. And not to mention, it gets super cold out, so my motivation and drive to practice just reaches an all-time low. And I'm sure you're thinking, Luke, why don't you just go inside to spin or practice? To be fair, that's true. I could practice at the gym. I want to dedicate my time to things that are best utilized there, right? At the tricking gym, it's not often where I get a chance to have springy floors, trampolines, and cushiony blocks. These things I don't get to access normally or commonly, so that's why when I'm at that gym, I want to dedicate my time to that so I can focus on flips and getting better in that realm and do a little bit of fire dancing there. Same with LA Fitness, right? In addition to the fire dancing, I'm trying to build strength. Focusing on calisthenics and my workouts at LA Fitness specifically is going to be a lot more effective for me rather than trying to do this one thing everywhere. I know I made a video in the past like reflecting over my 900 days and how having a fire knife in my car would be super convenient, having a place to spin everywhere I go. But I'm just telling you, like, this cold really blows and my drive to practice slows down, and it's so much more inconvenient, and you're fighting against the grain constantly for essentially half the year. And that's not really fun when you're in the day-to-day. And it sounds easier and it sounds like, oh, Luke, why don't you just go to the gym? And it sounds like I could do this, but when you're in those day-to-day moments and it stacks up, oh, it's cold outside, oh, it's snowing out, realistically, you wouldn't want to do it either. So even still, there are times where I do decide to practice outside and I decide to just suck it up, put a jacket on, put a hat on and gloves and do what I can. But it's also just not the same thing too, right? When I'm practicing and when I'm spinning outside, it's freezing, so I gotta wear gloves, and I'll spin with my gloves on, but it just makes it so much more harder to spin because of a lack of grip. There's a lot of cushion between my fingers and my hands and the knife, so I can't grab as efficiently, or certain moves that I do try to do won't necessarily go the way I want them to because the glove is in the way. And sure, you could say that the gloves help me build resistance. With anything that you really do, you'd want to execute and practice it in the way that you would be in the final result of things, right? So if I were to be competing or doing gigs in the summer, I'd want to use my hands because that's what I'm going to be using. I'm not going to be using gloves in the summer. So that's just one factor. Another thing is my jacket too. With this hoodie on, specifically this jacket, it gets in the way. So like when I'm doing things behind my back, when I'm doing things that require a little bit more shoulder and back flexibility, it's not gonna go the same way also, and it gets in the way and it's limiting, and it's just not the same as it would be without all this. Not to mention the freaking ground too. Like trying to do moves that are more acrobatic or require more movement are not going to be executed the same way also. And there can be a lot of ice, and it's actually a huge hazard for me because God forbid I break my ankle or dislocate something, then I'm pretty much out of commission. That's why I'll do what I can and maybe focus on moves that don't require as much movement, try to do drills. I'm sure these are things that you haven't even thought about, you know, when it comes to doing something like this. let alone in the snow and in the winter. But it's still a struggle and it's still a challenge too. Once in a while, I will light up. I will say that is a huge highlight doing it in the winter because the contrast between snow and fire is really cool, and it calls for a lot of cool content that I can make. I do get pretty warm from it too, so I'm able to like take off my jacket and do it the regular way, but I still have to watch out for the floor because imagine if I slip and then burn myself with the fire because I wasn't paying attention, or I forgot that there was snow in the first place because I'm trying to tear it up and I'm in the zone, and then all of a sudden I fall and break my leg and that's game over. Doing that too requires paying for fuel and gas for the fire knife, and then buying boards, maintenance, all this stuff. And not to mention the burn from the cold in addition to the fire is one of the most weirdest sensations that you'll ever feel, because your hands are warm, but you still feel like the ice cold from the handle and your hands are still freezing. I don't know if that makes any sense. There's like a metal burn to it. It's not coming from the fire, so it's just like a weird sensation that kind of hurts at times too, because my hands are trying to figure out what type of sensation they're getting, whether they should be warm or cold, and also just the execution of doing moves too, because externally they're warm, but internally my joints and my fingers are freezing. So I also won't have that as good of a grip as I would in regular conditions. Despite all that though, it's about just doing what you can under any type of condition. God, I dread the days where I wake up and I'm like, it's blizzard and snowing out, but I still have to spin. And I don't like just spinning in my room or spinning in the same place because I feel like I'm doing the same things. And especially with outside, it's nice to have the space and the airspace to throw and to do tosses. Despite all that, what matters most is that consistent showing up in however shape or form it may be, so long as you just show up. Conditions may not be ideal, your attitude or motivation may be at an all-time low, and everything can be stacked against you. But your decision to continue to do it and figure out ways to do it is what's gonna matter in the long run. And that 1% growth every single day, showing up, you may not see it in a couple days and you may not see it in 10, 20, 30 days, but imagine doing this for a couple weeks, couple months, and looking back and realizing it was freezing out, it was snowing out, and there was ice all over the floor, and I still decided to practice. I still decided to make it work, and I still decided to show up. Not to mention that feeling once you actually get it done and once you do the thing, afterwards, it's the best feeling going inside and going about your day. I'm sure this is something that you wouldn't think about when it comes to fire dancing, let alone in Chicago, of all places, right? So if there's something that you're facing that is a struggle or is hard to overcome because of all these conditions or just time of year or just life, drop it down in the link below. I'd love to hear about it, and I'm sure others would like to hear about it too, seeing what other people are going through, but what they're trying to show up for and what they're trying to overcome. It's not easy, and you know, every circumstance is different, everyone is different too, so their ability to do certain things may be better than others. But what matters again is you just showing up and just trying to do what you can so that you can achieve your goals and do whatever you set your mind to. Okay, I'm like seriously shivering right now, so I think I gotta go inside. But I hope you enjoyed that, and whatever it is you're going through, continue to overcome it, figure out a way to do it, even if it's just 1% or very little, or just showing up and leaving. Do it, and it's gonna make that much of a difference in the future. Like always, be what remains, and I'll see you next time. Peace.